Good evening, everybody. I see that we already got a couple people in here. Christina Payne Umpty, how are you? I have the awesome Seth Floyd with me here tonight. And I have actually, Seth, I have been wanting to ask you to do this for a while. And the weird thing is like I always watch YouTube at night before I go to sleep. And then I wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and then it's on some random show that has nothing to do with what I was watching earlier. And the last one was this guy in England that was going to these manors and looking for things, and then he basically repurposes them or sells them off. It's kind of like what's those guys, the pickers, American Pickers, or whatever it is.
American Pickers, yes.
Yeah, so it's the English version of that. And he got into this house and they had in the barn, it was just all of these different frames of stained glass. And I was like, I really need to ask Seth if he's available. And that's what led to me reaching out to you and seeing if you had a few minutes. And so we'll talk about that first, and then we'll get into sodas a little bit. But so how did you get into wanting to make your own stained glass?
Okay, well, this is an interesting story. This happened about 10 years ago. Luckily, the school system at the time was trying to get art teachers into, there was a lot of glass places around the state of West Virginia where I live at. And now we're down to maybe 2 of them that actually do plate glass. And one of them is really plate glass. The other one's more hand-blown glass, Blanco glass, and Wismach, which is up in the upper part of the state. That still sells a lot of plate glass and also sells it and distributes it throughout the country. And they wanted art teachers to be part of the 150th anniversary of the state of West Virginia. It was some type of project they wanted to do. Well, a lot of the art teachers did not want to jump in on this, so they opened it up to some general educators. Hence, being the chemistry teacher I was always interested in terms of, okay, if I'm making this color glass, what do I add to it? And some of the things that you add don't equal out to what the color of the glass turns out to be, especially cranberry glass. Cranberry glass is using a lot of gold flakes, and it actually reacts and it actually turns it a type of cranberry color. But other types of different compounds make different glass colors that you wouldn't suspect. But yeah.
Now, I remember in high school, we did a whole thing with my chemistry teacher, and we had to remember which chemical would make the bead turn a certain color, and our grade was based on if you got the color right.
That's correct. But when you're interacting it with silicon dioxide and some other things that make the glass, it don't turn the color like you think in terms of a flame test. In terms of a sodium turns a yellow color. Well, if you mix sodium compound with some glass, it might be a totally different color than the yellowish orange color that you would see normally in a flame test.
Now, do you make your own glass when you're doing this, or do you buy it?
No, I buy it. Like I said too, Blanco glass, which maybe is 20 minutes from here, they have glass, but a lot of times too, their glass is hand blown and then let it lay flat and it flattens out. So it's not the same thickness throughout. And sometimes when you try to cut it, and whenever I do cut it, the best tool you have is a pistol grip glass cutter. Now, a lot of times too, you have a straight glass cutter, but with a pistol grip, it's a lot more ergonomically safe. And when you press down, you get enough on the wheel, and actually when you etch the glass, it's very easy to break. But with Blanco, sometimes some of the pieces are really, really thin and some of them are quite thick, and sometimes there's inconsistencies.
Interesting. I didn't know that. My mom used to own a framing store, so I'm used to the straight edge ones where it has the metal wheel on it where it etches it, and then it has the 3 little notches in the back where you can snap the glass.
Yes. But with these right here, it's a lot more ergonomically easier on your wrist. And then, of course, too, we have tools such as the breakers here. So you would line up your cut, and there should be a line right there in the middle of that. I'm trying to get it there. And what you do is just line it up and snap, and it snaps in two with no problems at all. But you do have times you cut yourself.
So now, do you create your own patterns and like that you have to leave X amount for the leading in between it, or is it something that you can? I would assume nowadays you can probably pull different patterns up on the internet and be able to print them out. But
there's a lot of things you can print on off the internet, but a lot of times too, if you're going to do that, it's for your own personal use and you have to keep it yourself. And there's a lot of things I have made, I still have. I got a lot of those and some other things too. Like small things, like anything that's really not really character based or something. Like I just did these stars, and these were something I made years ago. So you would just worry about cutting the glass, and of course too, the solder that goes in between is actually a lead tin mix. You have different types of solders. You have 50-50, which is 50% lead, 50% tin. It has a lower melting point, but it does not beat up as nice as a 60-40, which is what normally I would use for a piece of glass like this. This is Tiffany style glass because you have, of course, too, I'm not using lead cane like the big stained glass windows you see in cathedrals and churches and like that. Those right there that's something I need to try to get down the rabbit hole with. And there's a shop probably within 50 miles of here that actually goes through the training on doing that. But I just haven't had the time or the energy to try to pursue that yet. But it's something that's on the to-do list.
Now you said, so this is just soldering, like the smaller pieces, you actually you create your own bead when you go around it. It's not like a strip that you wrap around it?
No, okay. It is not. A lot of the stuff that I do is like when you see a stained glass lamp, that's called a Tiffany style because it is all soldered together. What the lead glass, that's for like the big windows and so forth. Now I have tried that a few times, but nothing to the extent. But most of the stuff I do try to do is, I'm a big Rush fan. And I try to wear the shirt just to say it, but I've tried to do, this is from one of the snake catching its tail. And of course, cool. all this too is glass, and it has a black patina on it. I think the patina, I think it has a little bit of I forgot what type of acids inside of it. I should remember, but I don't remember. It's been so long since I've tried any of this lately. And then around the outside is zinc cane. It's just zinc U2, it's like a U channel, and it just fits around. And what I would try to do is then I will solder the hooks on the side. And of course, this hangs in the window right here, normally out of sight. The only one that mostly people see is the Funko one that's hanging there. Now that one is lead wrapped, but it's just wrapped around it, not actually between the seams and so forth.
That's awesome. Now, is it like when you were like hot and heavy and doing it quite a bit? Now, is this something that you were giving out as gifts to friends and family? Because I do know, like Mama J said, she got a piece in her swap box. My mom's piece that you gave her is actually up in the she shed up at the farm. So she's got all of her special things. Plus, we have a 3-year-old that's a tornado in my family. So she made sure that she took it up someplace that it was safe.
That's probably a wise idea.
Very wise.
Something that I have an issue sometimes with patients, and whenever they offer this, I say, you know what, too, let's try this and see how patient I became. But a lot of it too is, yes, during the end part of the year after Thanksgiving up through Christmas and so forth, it's really busy with certain things people ask for or making gifts and so forth. And sometimes it's just, I get home, and of course, too, when I get home, it's dark, and I do this, and I leave. I go to work when it's dark. I come back again. It's draining. And I'm hoping that now, since I had a little bit of time off from doing this, I still have one that I'm working on for one of the gentlemen in one of our group chats of one of his dogs, a dog that passed away about a year or so ago. And it's a unique dog. It was a one-eyed dog. It was a rescue dog, I believe. And I have it still sitting on the table in the room I'm doing my glass work in, and I haven't touched it since Thanksgiving because there's no motivation for it right now. But I'm hoping this little conversation you're having with me and me sharing some things here might get the juices flowing again. So.
Now, I know the different colors of glass are different expenses. There's some that are very cheap where you could get them if you wanted to start off trying to do this. But how expensive of a hobby is this? Because after I had the gentleman on that made their own rugs, I was like, ooh, I want to do that. I'm going to make all the littles their own personal rug. And then I saw the expense of it, and I was like, no.
Now, with just the basic tools that you have, which are your glass cutter, your breakers, and your other grosers, which means when I can cut like a curve on a piece of glass, I can pull, and this actually breaks it apart in a nice smooth. With these pieces, is not too bad. But I do also have a ring saw that was when I bought it, I don't know, about 8 years ago. This was about $400. So it's an actual like a wet saw like you use for tiles, but it's
Okay.
usually especially for glass, and I can do weird funky cuts that you cannot do very easy with a glass cutter. I mean,
Okay.
big curves or like lettering, like cursive lettering and so forth, stuff like that. So that makes it a lot easier with the saws. And then you have the grinder. Of course, whenever you cut, sometimes the glass does not break cleanly. You have shards on it, and you try to, foil it. And what we do with this type of glass too, we use a copper foil that goes over top of it. So whenever you have a piece of glass, the foil goes down it and then it's wrapped along the side there. So when the foil is touching each other, and then when you solder it, you solder the copper foil underneath there with the lead tin solder, and that's what makes the seam. So underneath all the
Wow.
seams on this, there is copper tape underneath all of it here. And then when you solder it down, of course, everything becomes pretty invisible. But sometimes you can look on the back and see like little pieces of the copper wire or copper foil.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So does the solder actually stick better to the copper, or is it because the copper has
Yes.
a melting point, it helps hold those together?
Well, you have to use a chemical called flux too, and the flux helps the copper tin or the copper adhere to the tin lead a little bit easier too. But yeah, the flux is something that you definitely need to worry about doing. It's like any type of, whenever they used to use lead pipe all the time, they would always, of course, they don't use lead pipe anymore, but when they solder something, they have to wrap it with some type of flux, which is the solution they use. Whenever it heats up, it actually adheres and chemically reacts with whatever the solder is going to be, and most of the stuff with that would be non-lead solder.
So I
But
have
yeah.
to, I have to tell you a funny story. My mom and I went to Hobby Lobby on Monday, yesterday, I guess, and to find stuff for my uncle's and my great aunt's birthday cakes for this weekend. So they're each getting a number, and then I'm finding little things to go on there. So we went to the dollhouse section to find small things that I could make like theirs. And I was waiting for my mom to get there, and I walked into the clearance section, and I kid you not, and it reminded me of like the 1950s kids toys. They had a glass bead making kit for children. I think it said 6 or 8 and up, that came with a
Right.
blowtorch.
Yes, I've seen those too. And with the beads, I've seen those in Hobby Lobby too. I never tried those before, but I've seen people use them, especially at like fairs and so forth. And you can make some crazy, crazy looking beads with that. That's something else I have not tried yet, but that's something maybe. But I also have done fused glass before too. And what you really need for that, and I don't have something large, but a glass kiln in terms of you actually make your own like plates, saucers, bowls, and stuff like that. Matter of fact, hold on. This is something I made. This was years ago, but you would use different types of glass. The black is actually small black channel. It's actually rounded like rope. And then,
Oh,
of
okay.
course, then too, what you would happen is you would sit this in a kiln and you would put it in a mold. And what happens is the glass would slump down into the mold of it and actually to adhere and do whatever shape you have. And of course, this is like a ceramic kiln, but I think the controls on it are a little bit more precise in terms of when it heats up and cools down. Because if you heat up glass really fast and you don't give it adequate time to cool back down, it will break in a heartbeat. Glass is
Yeah.
very finicky sometimes, especially with that.
My favorite part of glass artwork and crafting is I love to sit and watch people blow glass. I think it's absolutely, and I don't care if it's 90 degrees outside and it's 150 in there. I will stand at Greenfield Village and watch them. They're making ornaments, or they're making vases, or whatever it is. But I find it so fascinating, and I think that like stained glass is kind of like that halfway point, because you're still using the different colors and textures, and you can make things that you can't with the blown glass. But I find it so, I would love, that is like one of my bucket list things to do, is I'd love to take a glass blowing class and just learn how to do something.
Well, that is something that's always offered locally here at Blinko. Is during the summer they actually have people, you can actually pay X amount of dollars and actually go in and actually make your own vase or bottle, however you want to do it, and they actually sit there and assist you, but you are the one on the end of the pipe blowing to create everything, and you're also trying to open up the glass, like a little bit like with pottery and stuff like that. But yeah, they offer that down here. So like I said too, I don't know how many places are still open up in the continental United States that still does hand blown glass as much as I know Blinko does. But I know Blinko, actually, the glass they used out in Colorado Springs at the Air Force Cathedral, all that was Blinko. And that was been long time ago.
See, we have a medieval festival up here that they do during the summer, and they have a glass blowing area. And I went with a couple of my friends, and I'd had a couple of adult beverages, but they actually ended up just leaving me sit there, because I wasn't even responding to them anymore. I was just so enthralled with watching that. And then Greenfield Village, which is it's called the Henry Ford. So there is a huge, gorgeous building that looks like it would be something back from like Thomas Jefferson days, with a big cathedral on it, and it has an IMAX movie in there, or IMAX screen in there. It's got Abraham Lincoln's chair that he was shot in is in there. Rosa Parks' bus is in there. JFK's car that he was in when he was shot is in there. They've got a full-size train in there. They have, then there's the outside portion, which is only open when it's warm, except for they also do something for Christmas. But they have the Wright brothers' home that was moved up here. They have Thomas Edison's laboratory and home that is moved there. They have George Washington Carver's home is on the property.
Wow.
So these are all actually historic homes that they've taken apart, dismantled, and then they've rebuilt them on this property. And so we usually get an annual pass because it's cheaper. By the time you go there twice, it's paid itself off. And they have the glass blowing there as well. And then they have a whole area where you can go in and buy stuff. And then they have a tinsmith as well. So when I was a kid in North Carolina, that was something that we used to do with our church down there. Is we used to do the tin where you just nail it in and do a pattern on there, and then if you put a candle behind it, it would shine through with whatever little picture that it was.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think I've done that once or twice before in the past.
Hey, Mike, how are you? Now, and I know you said that you don't have time. How long for that piece that you just showed by Rush? How long does a piece like that take?
Well, with the saw, a lot of this too can be done. The pieces of glass can be done maybe in an hour and a half. Then all of a sudden, the toughest part of this is the foiling part, because you have to make sure the foil looks consistent around the pieces of the glass. Because sometimes too, when you're doing this, and sometimes people do this by hand. I have what's called a table foiler, and you would lay it down and you would run the piece of glass through it, and there's a wheel that actually dispenses. It's like a tape dispenser.
Oh,
and it goes around the piece of glass. I need to actually make a demonstration video and put it out there somewhere. But yeah, with most of the stuff I do on YouTube is mostly Funko related, but there's some glass stuff way back on in my channel's existence, so there's some stuff out there, but that's something I need to do because initially when I started making these YouTube videos, this was going to be one of the major things I was going to do. Well, it didn't somewhat materialize like that, and the Funko collecting and the soda collecting and other things somewhat took over. So
well, we all have big intentions. When I first started off with Fox on the other channel, and we had, dreams of becoming the next big YouTube raging stars too, but it doesn't always work out. And I don't know. I guess I've heard some of your stories, and I know that I love your Soda Saturdays. So I tune into those on the weekends, and I'm drinking coffee, having breakfast, or whatever, and I'll tune in because I've enjoyed those. And one of the things that's kind of sad is that that's one of the products that they seem to be holding back on when that was one of their best sellers. But at the same time, I think they got a little greedy, and like we were talking backstage, is it kind of all fell apart when they decided to take the numbering off of it, because people as collectors, not just toy buyers, they're trying to become a toy company, but as collectors, we want that limited edition. We want that chase. So I was really excited when I got the Marty because I got the chase.
Right. Whenever they took off the numbering, and I don't know if that was something they wanted to do or something they were somewhat contractual to do, but all the ones that are on the unnumbered, I think all of them are Marvel, aren't they?
I think Marvel and are some of the Disney ones also not numbered. I know Marvel. Marvel definitely is not.
Marvel is under the Disney umbrella now, so I don't know. I don't remember there any actual Disney ones, but most of the ones I am thinking on are Marvel. And I don't know if that was this too. I don't know if it was a money grab or what. Which, if it was, I'm disheartened about it, because yes, that's the reason why we collected sodas, because of the limited piece count.
And so Umpty said, I remember going to Jamestown Settlement as a younger person, and they had a glass house where they make glass stuff because it was one of the first industries in the New World.
Yes, it was. And that's the reason why, too, a lot of places in West Virginia, when it was growing, there was places everywhere. And I think at the maximum of time, there was up in hundreds, if not more than 200 or 300 places that blown glass or made plate glass. And now the only two places I know that still open is Blenko in Milton, West Virginia, and Wismach up in Payton City, West Virginia, which is up in the northern Panhandle, right below Moundsville, where the old state prison used to be. And I guess they do. I guess they do still do prison tours because it's haunted. I don't know. They might be haunted. I don't remember. Nope, not gonna do those.
You can ask my friends. I am like the biggest chicken, and like Teresa Newell loves to send me those memes where they're like doing something, and all of a sudden either something jumps at the screen or it, and I'm always the one that goes, "Hey, Quickie, how are you?" "Hi, Robert." So Mama J and Trent both said that DC also has ones with no count. I didn't know the DC ones also. No count. Huh.
Well, I'm trying to think what DC ones are. Well, that was, never mind. Was that Shazam's? Shazam's was DC, right?
It might have been. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes, but yeah,
no one was going to buy him anyway.
Well, and considering too the Shazam ones, you can tell which ones were chases or not just by the way they feel. Blue Beetles and all. And thank you, Mama J. Thank you. I see that too. Just Shazam, Blue Beetle, yeah. But I'm hoping with a lot of this is something in which if they only do maybe one or two a month or two, every month or two, I'm okay with that. Whenever they saturate the market with so much product, sometimes it's hard for the collector to actually pick and choose, because sometimes feasibility in terms of income, you can't get everything, and it's very hard to do so. And trust me, when I see a certain soda I like, I go, "Oh, I have to find this," and sometimes it's hard to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen a couple of pictures of the Shrek soda, because you and I were talking about that backstage too, and I asked you if you'd gotten it yet. I have not gone to my Hot Topic either, and like we were talking about, my mall that has the Hot Topic closest to me is getting ready to close as of July 1st. And it's really sad because the kids that work in there are super nice. And they know who I am, and mostly because I'm in there hunting for Handmade by Robots.
Yes.
But they will actually shoot me a DM on Instagram and like, "Hey, we got X, Y, and Z, and if you want to swing by," and like let me know so that I can go and grab them before they sell out, which is cool.
That's a very good thing, because the sodas, even like locally here, I was shocked whenever what was the last soda box lunch dropped? Was it the Jiminy Cricket?
Yeah, I think it might
one
have been
from a few weeks. I was shocked that I walked into my box lunch after I got off work, walked in there, and there's 6 of them sitting right there. I'm thinking, Why aren't these selling out? I don't. And you can find them now. I could never find sodas when I first initially started to collect these things around here locally. You had
Mm-hmm.
to order them from Funko or from a specific retailer, Ralphie's Funhouse. I'm dropping names, or Entertainment Earth or things like that, and you have to have them shipped here. Now there's a possibility I can actually go down and find these in a Hot Topic, a Box Lunch, FYE. That's the one closest one we have is in Ashland, Kentucky, about half hour away. Books A Million, any type of those stores like that usually have them in stock.
So Trent, just so you know, the closest ones to you, and if you don't have one by you, the closest ones that has a Box Lunch, an FYE, and a Hot Topic would be Great Lakes Crossing. You can shoot across I-69 and then come south on 75 about 20-25 minutes, and it's a big. It was started off as an outlet mall, and now it's kind of got more non-outlet stores in it, but all three of those are in, and they're all in the same hallway. If you walk around the perimeter through the hallways around it, it is like 1.4 miles all the way around. That's how big that place is. But the one that's closing is Lakeside Mall in Sterling Heights. And they're going to turn that into, Seth and I were talking about this before, they're going to keep the anchor stores of JCPenney and Macy's, and then it's going to be an outdoor mall. Kind of towards the middle of it is going to be a shopping area, and then going out will be condos and restaurants and things like that. So that's where Jollibee is off of is right in that area too. So all these big restaurants have been coming in while this has been, knowing that it was going to close down, and the big rumor was they were going to put a Buc-ee's there, which I got really excited for. But that's not happening.
You made it when you put a Buc-ee's. That place is crazy. We stopped a summer ago or 2 summers ago when we was heading to Myrtle Beach. We took a detour a little bit farther south. I forget what town it was, but yeah, that place is nuts.
Hey, Jeremy.
Crazy.
So wait, where do you go in Myrtle Beach?
Let's usually go to there. I think it was North Myrtle Beach when we went to. There's one of my wife's, one of her relatives had a condo. We rented it. Well, I guess my oldest daughter rented it, and we tagged along for a few of the days. So,
see, I grew up 2 hours from Myrtle Beach, and so we always stayed at Ocean Creek in North Myrtle, and that turned out to be right across from Barefoot Landing, and where the Hard Rock and House of Blues and everything was. I don't think the House of Blues I don't even know if Hard Rock are still there, but.
No, the House of Blues was not, but Hard Rock might have been when I was down there, but that's been a couple years ago.
Collector's Conquest says we need a Buc-ee soda, and I agree. And I think the common should be flocked. The common should be flocked, and the chase should be the bronze one, like the statue that's outside. I'm calling it.
What I'm somewhat enthused about was this Shrek one came out of nowhere. No one knew this was coming, and all of a sudden, bam, there was the glam shot of it. So I'm hoping this is something that they're going to start sneaking out more. Because what hooked me into this, their initial first couple sodas I bought were at Icon Cereal Monsters. The Frankenberry, Count Chocula. Those were my first two, and I have to laugh. I always tell the story. We're at our old residence. We moved here about 3 years ago or 4 years ago before I got ill for about a half year. And I'm opening this can. Of course, I tell my wife, this is a new product. It's in a soda can, and it's a figure inside. So we open it up, and all of a sudden I pull out this Frankenberry, and I went, why the heck is this brown? And I did not know what it was. And I looked, and I went, it's not the regular figure. This is a chase figure. So my first ever pull was a Count Chocula color Frankenberry. So I was like, that hooked me right there. I saw that and I went, I got to keep going.
The very first chase I ever pulled was the Emerald City Comic-Con pink Batman. That was my first one.
Well, I have an Emerald City. I have actually 2 Emerald City Comic-Con Huckleberry Hounds up here, but the Batman I did not get that, and I wish I did. I'm trying to go back and piece at least the comments together from that original handful of the first line or two, and actually the early cons. But what I'll always laugh about is if you look at the cans of the Emerald City Comic Con ones, the bottom of the, I'm pretty sure, of the Huckleberry Hound is actually stamped it was produced in 2019. And of course, sodas were not actually released in 2020. So they actually had the product and stayed on top of it there for a second. One second, let me double check this really quick.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I can grab my Batman and see.
Yeah,
because it's out here in the hallway. So hang on.
Got it. And I'm digging my. Come here.
This one says 2020 on it.
Well, on the bottom of this one, oops, I can see that or not. I'm trying to hold it just right. But it says 19/12/12. This was canned on the 12th of December 2019.
Yeah, so that this one says that too, but it's it says 2020, and then it says DRM 19/12/12.
Yes,
yeah, 2019.
That's the bottom of the green Huckleberry Hound. So yeah.
I wanted this one, and the funny part is and I wish I still got this feeling, was when I got this and I realized that I had gotten the chase because it's the one that I wanted, because pink for breast cancer, and I had lost my grandma not too long before that.
That is an awesome figure.
I actually got tears. Like, I got choked up because I got this chase, and I don't get that way anymore. And that's something that. And that's the other reason I wanted you on here, because about the only thing that still ties me to Funko is the sodas. And everybody saw that I got, I pulled the Marty, I got the Common and the Chase, but Robert, have you not seen that before?
The sodas are, but yeah, I have now the Adam West one. I did pull that one. That was one here, I guess, within the last 6-8 months. That one came out or something like that. But yeah, the pink, I actually picked up the actual common Batman from Big Dog Dave here about, maybe about a month or two ago. It wasn't that long ago, of one of his, I think it was actually from his Puzzle Pieces Squared auction. I think he had one of them up for buy now. And I said, I need to grab this. And he had a really good price on it. And I said, that's going for a good cause. So let's do it. So
I started, I packed a bunch of them up. So I'm not getting rid of my sodas because I still like them. And I think that eventually, when I don't have any kids of my own, and my dog's not going to outlive me, I hope. I don't hope. I hope she does, but yes, you know what I mean. Like, she's not, because she's a dog. And so I'm kind of hoping that, because I don't have any kids, that this would be something that I would leave to my nieces and nephews is something they can either, and Nolan does have a few sodas and quite a few Funkos, but that way in the future, when I'm 50, 60 years old and these are an antique, that either they'll find something in here that reminds them of me, or they can choose to sell them and do whatever they want with them. But I've packed a bunch of those away because I don't want to get rid of my sodas. I am like, Funkos, go. I do the mystery boxes with everybody in Collectors Conquests group and things like that on occasion, and that's about the only thing that's keeping me getting Funko Pops is just doing some of these mystery boxes, because it's fun to hang out with you guys and do those. But sodas that have kept me in there, and when they dropped that Marty, I was like, yes.
Well, with mystery boxes too, what has disheartened me too is whenever to find a soda mystery box, I have not got one unnumbered soda. I refuse, and I'm keeping a hard line on it. I'm just not going to purchase one of those. And if I do, I don't know what I'm going to do if I ever have one cross my path. But a lot of these mystery boxes I've seen people or companies send out, and I know too, a lot of them too, they have inventory they have to put in the boxes. But a lot of times too, I see the unnumbered sodas, and I'm thinking to myself, that's why I don't do mystery boxes anymore, unless I know what's going to be coming in. If they're limited edition numbered sodas, maybe, but you can't tell anymore with all the influx of all these unnumbered sodas they put out.
Right. So Trent has a question. What is your longest chase hunt? I know what mine is, but I'll see what yours is.
Longest chase hunt. The question is, too, do I even have that chase when I'm looking for? What I'm really trying to find is, of course, the first Freddy Funko that was released in soda form was Vampire Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever it was dropped, of course, it was dropped when I'm in the middle of work, so I can't really stop in the middle of class and say, stop, guys, I got to order something. But, yeah, the actual Freddy that is the skeleton Freddy, that was the one I probably would want to find right now in terms of chase. I just haven't crossed it yet with the right price on it yet. I know it's going to be up 100, 200 plus range, in that range there somewhere, but I just haven't found it yet. Although I did get the New York City one that was not the chase one, but it was just regular common. I was very happy getting that here about, say, 6-7 months ago. Yes, the skeleton Freddy. That was the chase of the Vampire Freddy. Now, I know they came out with an NFT one, which was a Mummy Freddy. Mm-hmm. That's another one that, even though it's not a chase, that's one that maybe.
Mine's not very valuable, but it became almost, I had to keep going, and I'd get on Whatnot when they were doing case breaks of it because it was driving me insane that I could not hit this chase. Mama J, plug your ears, but it was Deadpool. I had to get that stupid Deadpool chase. I finally pulled it. I finally have it. And so, like, I feel better about myself now, just because that was just something I had to conquer. But that took me forever. I would say probably a year after that soda came out, somebody was doing a break because, you know, they made so many of those, and I finally hit it. Yeah, I knew that's.
Well, you're not the only person that had a Deadpool issue. I'm pretty sure the Bearded Barbarian had a big Deadpool issue too, and I don't know how many you opened up before you actually hit one too. It was the crazy amount. 16. But the one that was, it was 16 of them. 16 for you. I know it had to be at least 12 before you hit. So 16. That sounds like my secret squirrel. I tried to get the chase secret squirrel, and I probably didn't go more than 8, 9, possibly 10 of them. And after the 10th one, last one I opened up, I said, I'm not dealing with this anymore. You know, where you can't go. It's like trying to keep on hitting, expecting something different. If it's not going to change, it's not meant to be, at least not yet.
I jumped in one last time, and I don't remember. It was probably 6-8 months ago, and I'd finally, it was on a break, and I finally hit it. Now, when the 3 liters came out, did you have a love-hate relationship with those, or did you like them?
I only have 3 liters. And the one that I really, really wanted to get, and I'm not a big anime person, but when they released the 3-liter All Might, I grabbed that because I just like My Hero Academia. There's some other anime that I'm starting to watch now, but the My Hero one, because one of the chases I pulled was a 1-on-1. Whenever I opened up, I think it was the only All Might regular size soda was a chase. So I said, let's try this, and never had a chance. But the one that I really like in terms of 3-liter was the actual Bumble from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I have not been able to pull the chase. I think I have 2 or 3. The other one that I have the common now, but I couldn't hit the chase of was the Iron Giant, because the Iron Giant was
that was the first one.
Yeah, well, and he was also a big character in Ready Player One, which is one of my favorite movies. And so I just wanted to get a common one of that. My favorite 3-liter that I have both the common and the chase. Actually, I have 2 chases. I don't know what I'm going to do with the second one. I kind of need to get rid of it. Is Willy Wonka.
Yeah. So sometimes too, what was the thinking behind Willy Wonka? I understand bigger things, but I don't understand why they did Willy Wonka for. It turned out to be a great soda, but these are.
But how long before that movie came out did that 3-liter launch?
That's true. That was quite a while. And of course, then they had the newer version of it. That was the musical version that was dropped here within the last year and a half. Willy Wonka was.
Yeah, they dropped that 3-liter not too many months before that Timothy Chalamet musical version came out. So I think that there was a tie-in there to try and get people excited for Willy Wonka again, put Wonka back in your brain, and then the Wonka movie dropped.
Yeah.
I couldn't pull the. I really wanted the Darth Vader. Darth Vader and Darth Maul are my two favorite villains in Star Wars, and I really wanted the chase Darth Vader, but I have 2 or 3 commons of that too.
Yeah, well, like I said, those are only 3 I got, and of course, the reason why I got the Oogie Boogie is because this was, like, I think at the time, $20, or actually less than that, because they usually sell them for $50. This might have even been $10. I can't remember how much they were when they tried one of these bigger sales here. Half a year ago? Was it right there before Christmas too? That's what it was. It was before Christmas, and they had a big sale on certain things. I guess in terms of liquidation or what. So.
And Teresa, no, I'm talking about you because if your ears are ringing, because Seth and I were talking about you earlier. We were talking about sodas, and he said, you're one of the last ones that's really still goes. I mean, you are the undisputed queen of sodas. I mean, let's just face that fact.
Yep, amen to that. And she's the biggest completionist I still know.
Absolutely, yeah. She got me in a whatnot the other night, and I did not do very well. So. I tried to gift her stuff, and they wouldn't let me. So,
yeah, whatnot is very dangerous. So I try to limit myself going in there. When you go in there, your wall is going to take a hit, and I'm like, I don't need to do that right now.
True. I mean, but then I get stuff like this, and that's where really that sports memorabilia thing is really. I was not talking shit, Mama J. She said she's still missing some sodas. Yeah, I know. She has an ever-changing list of sodas, and she'll send them to me. And I all my chases are. I have like a hallway that goes outside of this room, and then across the hall is my guest bedroom, and then bathrooms in between. And so I got shelves, and it basically holds like probably 11 or 12 sodas on each shelf, and there's 6 of them, and they're all full with all my chases. So my chases are out there, and then I still have some of the sodas that I really like in here, the commons that are in here, because I never got the Bumble regular size soda either.
See, what I have here is I have a old Pepsi or Coca-Cola. A Coca-Cola, whatchamacallit there, rack that was, and I use that for some of my chases on those. And it's not really very visible, a lot of these, but it's something that's unique.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
and of course I have a bunch of them up here, and then all my Freddies are underneath there, and my Protos, and well, no Franny's yet, but they're going to release some sodas of her here, I'm pretty sure, for San Diego Comic-Con.
Trent says he's only after the Chase John Wick and Chase Lucha Captain America.
Oh, the luchadors. Only had 2 of them ever cross my path, and one was a chase of, I forget which one it was, and then the other one, I don't remember what it was. I think it was a common, but yeah, only out of all those mystery boxes I used to do some off and on, only 2 luchadors ever crossed my path. I was very shocked, because I've seen some people open up mystery boxes, and it was always at least one luchador if they bought multiple boxes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Johnny, how are you? Now, Teresa, do you have all of the Chase in the common luchadors too? Or did you not even try and collect those?
I'm pretty sure Teresa has them. I think she does.
I wouldn't even know what to do with. I mean, I don't even know why I'm saying that, because she's got an awesome display behind her when you're there, but she has those, so blessed, just not FS. What? FS. What is FS? I don't know what that means.
Oh, I said not for
Oh,
sale. I
set.
figure. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
she
Not
has all of them. Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
That was
she
another.
auctioneer talk.
That was a side conversation she was having with someone else in the chat, I think.
Yeah. Now, out of all of your what are your like top 5 sodas that you have?
Top 5. Well, I have to say my Chase Frankenberry and my Chase Fruit Brute. Those are my top 2. And then I was very stoked about the Chase Creature from the Black Lagoon that was from probably about a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
It was released, and I'm hoping they will do other ones along the Universal Monsters line, like Classic Dracula, the Melaleuin Mutant, Bride of Frankenstein, things like that. Actually, now Frankenstein, I don't have the Chase of Frankenstein, but the Pooh Bear, the only Pooh Bear I ever purchased, it was a Chase, and that one's quite desirable now. And trying to think what I'm looking over here at my chases really quick. And I'm a big banana splits person, but out of all the banana splits, only have one chase, and it's probably a drooper, but they never released a common drooper. The only thing they released drooper wise was blacklight ones, which
Blacklight,
yeah. The only drooper they ever dropped was in the 4-pack from one of these cons from, let me look really quick here. God, the commons right here.
And that's like the 10-inch with the cereal monsters. They released
right.
Count Chocula and Frankenberry, but they never released the 10-inch Blueberry.
No Blueberry. That's exactly right. And actually, out of all the cereal monsters, Blueberry is my favorite because I never was a big Count Chocula fan, but Blueberry, I did like Blueberry. But yeah, this was from WonderCon 2022. Was the Blacklight Banana Splits, but they never have released a normal colored drooper yet from the Banana Splits, and that's another one. And like the other 2 members of Kiss, where the heck are those? I want to know.
Yeah.
So there's certain pieces that they would tease you with something, and then they would never give us anything else from the line. I know, but Masters of the Universe, there's a lot of Masters of the Universe stuff that was dropped. Looney Tunes, I was happy they dropped Bugs Bunny, but it was a Bugs Bunny mixed up with Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But they Duck Dodgers.
I have Duck Dodgers, yeah.
Yeah, Duck Dodgers. That's one of the chases too I have. That's probably one of my most favorite chases of all. I was happy they did a lot of the early childhood memories of me of Year Without Santa Claus and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer ones, like with Heat Miser, Snow Miser, and then you have Rudolph and Yukon Cornelius, and those were great sodas, and I really hope they would. And of course, too, a lot of times too with the sodas too, I think they're actually looking to hook people that are a little bit older into it, because those characters, these younger kids don't know what they are or who they are. It's for us, for the people that have lived a little bit.
I think a lot of that was Brian Mariotti driven. And because he was a big Huckleberry Hound guy.
Yes, he was.
Somewhere I bought that stupid pop that came with the stupid book, and I don't even know where it's at now. And it's still in its paper and everything. Like, I never like fully opened it, and but that was, I knew that was, there was a chance that you could get like an autographed one, or you could get the Chase one. I don't remember what it was, but that's the only reason I got it. And I think it was like $75 or something stupid when it came out.
Was something like that too. Yeah, I remember that. And of course, Prop Pop. Yes, the last 2 members of Ghostbusters, they haven't released them yet either. They did Bill Murray and yeah.
But yeah, it's weird how they start something and then it's almost like, it makes me think of Doug from where it's Squirrel. We're gonna do 2 of the Ghostbusters. Squirrel. Now we're gonna do anime, or Squirrel. Now we're gonna do this.
Yeah, I agree.
The prototype for Doc Brown. That prototype is on eBay for sale, but they never actually did the soda.
I know. I saw that whenever that dropped here by a week or 2 ago. That's right after the Marty McFly with the guitar came out. And the story of I had the pop of that when it was released, But the sad story about it was when I went to the FYE, when I picked it up, the only one they had left, the box was roached up. And I have it, but it's like roughly about $100 now. But with the box, it's not worth that much anymore. I was like always saying, "Oh, I have that," but it's not very good.
Now, the interesting thing on eBay is that there's two prototypes of that Doc Brown soda. One is the Chase, and one is the Common, and both prototypes are up there.
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah, with the lightning, I guess the lightning with the and I hope it does come to fruition that they do release the Doc Browns, because I know there is a large fandom of Back to the Future. A large fandom. Crazy fandom. That's one of the best movie lines that they've ever made.
That whole shelf is Back to the Future. You can't see it right now, but behind these boxes right here is the full-size Lego DeLorean. I am obsessed with Back to the Future. And
I'm going to be interested in seeing whenever they're going to come out, I guess, with Tom Holland being the main character, I guess Marty's son. I guess that's what I've heard, right?
Yeah, I've heard those rumblings too.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested in seeing how they do this, because a lot of times, too, Hollywood, when they have something good that they want to, and I hope they don't mess it up. I really don't hope they don't mess it up at all.
Yeah, like Mama J just said, she's one of the crazy fans. I am one of the crazy fans. Although I will have to say, I was good this weekend. I had stuff that I knew I needed to get done, because the next 2 weekends I have a birthday party, and then the weekend after that I have a funeral to go to. And so I knew that I had a limited amount of time. I did not go to Comic-Con this weekend, and I could have met Jeremy because I knew he was there. But Tom Wilson, who played Biff, was there.
Oh.
And I would have loved to have taken either one of the license plates or the DeLorean handmade by robots and have him sign it.
Yeah, that would have been great.
I didn't go. And then Christopher Lloyd, I was here like 2 years ago, and I was so sick that I couldn't go. I had bought tickets and I couldn't go.
We've only been to two cons. There's one local here in Huntington or close, and then we went to Cincinnati a couple years ago, and that was an experience. I know that wasn't something really crazy large, but for us, that was huge. But I'm hoping to go to, I know they have one in Niagara Falls. That's something that I possibly could do. New York City, I don't know if I could handle that or not. There's too many people.
Well, see, I want to go to New York City for more than one reason, because Fox and I pretty much spend the day throwing food pictures back and forth at each other, like, ooh, I want to try this. Ooh, I want to try this. And, I see the places that he goes in his posts, and I'm like, I'm just going to put myself in the next box that I ship you, and then we're going to go just try foodie adventures. And we've talked about trying, to get me to come about New York City. I don't know if he's banned now because of what he did the one year, but I'd love to go to New York City Comic-Con just once. I loved New York City when I was there. Like, you think it's going to be really full of people, but it kind of depends on where you go. If you stay out of the touristy areas, you don't go to Times Square and all that in the middle of the day when everybody's you get thousands of people just doing this the whole time.
Yeah. Well, Fox wouldn't ever get in any type of trouble. I know that. He wouldn't do such a thing. Never. Nah, never do that.
And then I've talked to Teresa Newell about coming out for Emerald City Comic-Con. I believe, and if you go back and look at the lineup between C2E2 and Motor City Comic-Con, I think Motor City Comic-Con had a better lineup of stars and signatures and people coming than Chicago did. I'll be honest with you.
Wow. I know they had some people that were pretty big coming to Chicago, but if I haven't really been paying attention. I know the one that's going to be local here, I think, in the middle of August here in a couple months. I don't even think they've even said who was supposed to be coming. So I'm somewhat interested to see who shows up. I think the biggest person that was supposed to show up last year had to cancel, and it was John Barrowman from Doctor Who and from Arrow, but he couldn't make it. So
yeah, they had the other one that I wanted to go meet was Katie Sackhoff that played Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian. I loved her in Battle Star Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica, yes.
Yeah, I
reboot
really
of
wanted
that,
to meet
yeah.
her. The guy that played Moff Gideon, Esposito, he was here. One of the other Mandalorian guys was here. Carla Gugino, who is in one of my favorite movies from the '90s. She was in Son-in-Law with
No,
Pauly
Pauly
Shore.
Shore. Pauly Shore,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was in that movie, and she was also in Sucker Punch, which didn't do very well, but I find that movie fascinating. And so I wanted to meet her. I mean, there was a lot of people. Like, I feel like I kind of let myself down. I didn't plan very well, but at the same time, we've gotten these weird, like I was telling Seth before the show, and Trent, you didn't get anything today, and it was sunny, but right before the show started, I went out. I could hear my house shuttered all of a sudden, and I was like, "What is going on?" And I walked outside, and there's like a cloud heading up towards the farm, and I'm like, "Well, I better cover the grill because we've been getting Florida type storms. They just pop up out of nowhere, and it's like a heavy downpour to the like ponding and everything, and then it's gone. And it's so much like Florida weather. It's weird."
Well, with all that rain too, you got to be careful, of course, up there. I'm pretty sure you'll have a mosquito problem sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Yeah, like we were talking about too. The worst part this year, because we had such a mild winter, is in all of my years of owning this home, I have never seen ticks in my backyard before, and now that's 2 in less than a week. One was on Fenway's face last night that my dad literally like pulled off for me and put it in a water bottle, and then the other one was on a gallon of water that I had just sat down on the back porch to take it in the house.
That's the only problem about mild winters. You don't kill a lot of the pest population, especially insects. I'm still waiting for the cicadas to hatch out. We're supposed to have a bad year of having those run through here, but I haven't heard of one actually at all during the whole so far. I know it's going to change.
Oh, so Trent said he had a tornado warning around lunch day. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Wow. I know we had actually beginning of April, we had a bunch of tornadoes come through here. We actually have one of the windows on the side of the house that's still in the process of getting repaired because I had to custom make the window.
Well, I remember seeing your post where you guys were all in the hallway and everything else because it had gotten pretty close to the school.
Well, the thing that had me laughing about that was the morning of I get there about 6:45 in the morning and the email shows up. Here's the new protocol for any tornado drills. And I'm thinking, oh, please don't do that today. And all of a sudden, and what totally freaked me out was in the middle of my beginning of my introductory chem class I was going through, all of a sudden, everyone's phone. Broadcast system. I'm thinking, oh, goodness gracious, here it comes. So we had to go downstairs. And, of course, when we went downstairs, electricity went off. And we actually were out for almost a week because of power outages from where my schools were located where I teach at.
Wow.
I mean, it was laughable about it, but yeah, we've had, luckily where we're at in West Virginia, we don't have that much in terms of very tornadic activity, but it seems to be a little bit more common now.
Mm-hmm.
At least with a lot of straight line winds.
Yeah, and that's what Umpty just said. I was getting hit pretty bad right now, and I saw my cousin said she lives more towards the Illinois side of Iowa, or in Illinois, and across the river is Iowa. I want to say that. I think that's how it works. But yeah. I told her, I'm like, be careful, because I could see on there, and that's another thing, is one of my biggest things, that one of those like bucket list items is I want to go chase tornadoes in one of those tornado cars one day. I will wear adult diapers because I will poop my pants, but I want to do it. I want to go see the new Twister movie.
Yeah, they're coming out with that. Yeah, they're coming out with the new Twister movie.
Yep. Helen Hunt was here, and they actually, at the Novi Theater, were showing Twister. I think she was going to talk about the new movie because she's in it briefly, I believe.
Right.
It's their daughter that is taking it over, and Glenn Campbell, who, that dude is hot. But I think she was kind of taking some questions on the new movie and she was here too. And I'm like I said, I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get my shit together and make it out there. But at the same time, I got a lot done that I needed to this weekend. So
there's always going to be other times.
Absolutely. Always. It doesn't matter who it is. My mom has her phone in this time of year is constantly going off with like the alarms, like you said, like everybody's phone went off because my mom is watching a friend of ours that's in Oklahoma. She's got my aunt in Texas. She's got my cousin. She's got my uncle in Grand Rapids. She's got her friend in North Carolina, and both our house, here in Romeo, they have their house here, and then the farm. Foxy, were your ears burning too?
There's Fox.
We were just talking about me shipping myself to New York so we can go have foodie adventures. But we'll be sitting at dinner, and then my mom's like, "Oh, it's not. Don't worry, it's not." Because we're all like freaked out. Like, is there like a thunderstorm coming or something? And my mom's like, "No, that's for so and so," or "Oh, that's for your Aunt Tammy," or da 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 da.
Well, I just anytime the dang thing goes off for weather alert, I'm all ears right now because things just seem to be a lot weirder nowadays. A lot more weird things are happening.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's been crazy, and we were all worried about you because that's also scary because you are responsible for those children, when they're at school like that, and that's got to be, a very like heart-wrenching moment because you don't know if that's going to impact the school.
That too, and we don't know sometimes too, and how it's going to impact the kid too, because their house could be totally messed up or damaged really severely. They couldn't go back, or they could be out of electricity for a week. Sometimes too, I remember a few years ago there was a lot of straight line winds that came through, and people, it was crippling through here for about 2 weeks. Not a soul, and there's people trying to get power restored, and it was something that took a long time to get done. Anytime you have something like that comes through.
And I don't know exactly where in West Virginia. I knew you were in West Virginia, but I don't know exactly. So we used to, when we would run from North Carolina up to Indiana to see my grandparents, I remember going through is it Charleston, West Virginia?
Charleston, yes.
Big bridge there, like a big expansion bridge that goes over. Yeah.
Now, so where I'm at, and of course they took that big bridge down. They're actually having different construction now, so it's a different bridge, and they're still doing a lot of construction through there. And it's actually coming from Charleston into some place called Taze Valley, and then that will then lead us into where I'm at in the Barbersville region, into Huntington. We're right there in the tri-state area of Kentucky, or Kentucky, West Virginia, and Ohio. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I think in West Virginia too, if I remember, it must be West Virginia, is where you would go through the tunnels inside the mountain itself. Like they blasted out the tunnels.
Yes. That will be coming down about Bluefield and coming up there too. There's a couple down through that area down there on 64.
My mom used to wake us up or we would just automatically, because it'd be pitch dark, and and then all of a sudden these bright lights would come on because you're inside the mountain, and I would just remember that being like, that was such a cool experience, and it's such a beautiful state. Like I loved driving through there. I hate I'm sorry, anybody from Ohio. I hate driving through Ohio. That is the most boring state to drive through. It's flat.
Well, it's not flat as some of the places in the Midwest I have. I remember one time when I was back in my teenage years, I used to remember we were going on a tour bus out to the Grand Canyon. This is when I was still in scouting a long time ago. And I remember 50, 60 miles away in the middle of Kansas, I used to see thunderstorms come in, and it was an awesome experience. And it never got anywhere close to us, but I just watched it come in. Everything is flat out there in the middle part. So we're heading to Cincinnati in a couple of days to catch a Reds game. So I hope they win because they've been god awful here lately.
Well, the Tigers aren't much better. I'm still holding out hope that my Lions will be good again this year. But
I believe the Lions. You do have hope with I think he's proved the Rams wrong, and I think they got rid of him and. He's proved them wrong, and thank God.
Sometimes you just need someone to believe in you to find the confidence. I thought they'd made the wrong decision the first year that he got here because he was still very shaky and showing very, every single pass was very short. And now you've seen over the last couple of years where he's now lengthening out. He can throw the longer passes. And so I was like, why are we paying top dollar for wide receivers when he's not even throwing the ball down the field, but now he is. And so The Tigers are not doing great. The Tigers are 500, and you should hear the guys over here in Detroit talk about them and the pitching and inconsistencies. They have a lot of rebuilding to do.
With the Reds, at least the pitching has been halfway decent. They couldn't hit water if they fell out of it right now in terms of their batting. It's awful. If they fell off a boat, they wouldn't hit water. It's awful.
Well, it's cyclical. The Red Wings are still, they used to be in the 90s. That was fun to watch them. Now it's like the Pistons are probably the worst basketball team in the NBA. And so but it used to be the opposite, the Pistons and the Red Wings were the best team, and the Lions were the worst team in the NFL. And I have a jersey from the 0-16 season, and it's all cyclical. So I'm hoping that the Tigers will end up better. I don't think they're going to make any moves. I think they're going to sell and not actually add to the roster, but we'll see.
Well, you never know, and I'm going to mark it down right now. So someone make sure this is noted. I'm going to predict something for the Super Bowl. It's going to be the Detroit Lions and Cincinnati Bengals.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that if Joe Burrow does not get nicked up again, if he doesn't get nicked up, I think they can run through the AFC.
Now, I'm hoping that you're right, because I would love to see the Lions in the Super Bowl, but I'm also a little bit scared because when Mary was on, obviously I made that bet again so if the Lions get to the Super Bowl and win, she has to make me a Handmade by Robots winter hat that looks like the Robots hat. And if they lose, then I have to get a Handmade by Robots tattooed on me.
Oh, well, have you figured out the actual logo, Handmade by Robots? Which, hold on here, I got mine right here. So that robot right there.
Yep, that black hat that's on his head. That's the one that she wants to make me that hat.
That, you know what, that'll be downright awesome here. There's a chomp. So I got one of those chomps, and I need to try to find some more of those. I know BK Phipps 4. I think she has all the crossovers from Abominable Toys and Handmade by Robots. I know she has all those. I think.
I have.
And I'm pretty sure you do. I'm pretty sure you do too.
The gold one, and because the gold one, people are asking like $500-600 for it, and I showed that. I sent a text to Mary, and I showed her. I'm like, look what this is going for. She goes, it's not made out of real gold, and I'm like, yeah, that's true.
The long game. Always wait, because it always seems to cool down.
Well, and there's still there's one to go still. There's the white metallic, and the rest of the gold chases are coming out with that.
Right.
So
I got a lot of the Scooby-Doo ones here, and I got a couple of Elvira's. Now I was hoping, of course, I was going to try to get one of the the orange ones from last year's New York Comic Con that Plastic Empire was selling. The one that possibly you could, the one that you could possibly get the autograph to. I think it was the orange dress one.
Pop did that.
$7 a pop. I can't remember if it was Plastic Empire or them.
I have the red one. I have the red one with the autograph card in it.
Okay, that might have been the one. Hold on, or was that the purple one? Hold on.
Well, the orange one was $7 a pop. The purple one with Plastic.
The purple one was Plastic Empire. Okay.
Yeah.
I had my Elvira's mixed up. I maybe have a dozen of the Handmade by Robots. So I'm still somewhat not hooked in there on that yet, but certain ones that I see, the one that I like the most is probably the metallic or electroplated Black Knight. I like that.
I love that one. He's over there.
That's a sweet one. Yes, it is.
When she showed us on the videos from the factory and how they actually did that was really cool, because I don't know. She says it's a different process than how they chromed the Funko Pops. So it was some sort of electric charge that goes through there, but the chroming was actually like a dip or something for the Funkos.
Right.
And I love that one.
Matter of fact here. So we have of course. Yeah. But that electroplated one, the shine on it is downright awesome.
No, the one I couldn't believe. This is some of the stuff. So I picked up, obviously from the sale, I picked up a few things, and the one that I couldn't. I was like, how am I missing this? Because I swear that I had it, and I don't know where it's at. Is the original Creeper? I have the Creeper that was the glow in the dark one, but I did not have the original.
Now I do have the glow in the dark one right here too. Yeah, it's sitting here. There's only 480 units of those, I think, that were made, the glow one. Yes, yeah, that one, right? That's the original one, right?
Yeah, that's the original one, and I was missing him, and because I have them all in numerical order, and then if I was missing numbers, I was trying to figure out why I was missing numbers, and I was kind of panicking, like I can't believe I've been slacking this much on this collection. And then I got on their website and I realized a lot of them hadn't. There's no figure yet for that number. So there's gaps in the numbers. And I knew where the Back to the Future ones were coming in because one, we'd seen a glam shot of one of them and I saw the number and I'm like, all right, well, then I knew there were going to be 13 of the Chomps. So I knew where those were coming in and I knew where the Back to the Future were coming in. And then there's still supposed to be the other Scooby-Doo. So Daphne and Fred are supposed to be coming out to finish that line. So that, that we're supposed to get those and a couple of other things, that I picked up. And then I'm not into the Killer Clowns at all. Like, I'm sorry, Robert, I love you, but I'm not. But I did get this off of Amazon. It did come in its sorter and it came minty.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one before. That's one I don't think I've ever seen that out in the wild before. Yeah,
he was like super cheap, like below retail on Amazon. And it was just like a day or two sale. So I think I paid like $14 or $15 for him.
And then of course, if you have Amazon Prime, that was free shipping. So yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yep.
No-brainer.
But I'm running out of space to put the bigger ones because they're all up top with the 2-packs and the 3-pack. And then this box is the same size as the Fezzik that's up there.
Right.
Which is
the Andre the Giant. Yes, Andre.
Yeah, I was glad that they did him bigger than the rest of the characters, though. I thought that was cool. And then I have no idea when that Voltron comes out, which I'm going to have to get it because that's going to be, what'd she say? It's going to be like 13 inches, I think is how tall that one's going to be. And then they have the other one coming out that's supposed to be almost 30 inches or something stupid.
That's what they said. That's the biggest they can make. I remember listening when I was watching your live with her. But yeah, that's how big they can make it. But that's crazy. It's crazy size.
Yeah, the Batman ones that are coming, the 1966 Batman ones that are supposed to be coming out, those two are amazing.
Oh, Adam West.
Mm-hmm. And then they're, obviously they're going to be dropping some more sports ones this year because is it who? I forget who it is. I already know. I checked all the baseball ones, so I look up for the giveaways,
right,
to see. Foxy, love you. Got me the
Mr. Matt. Yes, I sing Mr. Matt, and they've done. I think the Minnesota Twins did one, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot what it was.
Oh, the Kansas City Royals did one.
Kansas City Royals, sorry, yeah, of the line mascot. Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah, and then
I was in American League. I remember
two.
They've done Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt, yeah.
And then the Kraken have done two. So the first year they did the dog Davy Jones, and then last year they did Bowie, which is their mascot.
Because that's the NHL, correct?
Yeah.
I'm not much of a hockey person, but I'm making sure.
BDA, the parent company of Handmade by Robots, the guy who owns that company is a part owner of the Kraken. So that's the connection there. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping they would, of course, they did Mr. Met, and of course, Mr. Reds or Mr. Redlegs is somewhat similar. So I'm hoping something like that would happen as a stadium giveaway. I know they usually do Funko Pops at least once or twice a year, but I was somewhat disheartened they're not doing any Funko Pop giveaways this year. At least not at Cincinnati, at least. I was like,
I didn't even check for the Tigers. I did check to see if they were doing a Handmade by Robots. And there is one coming out, and I can't remember if it's Kansas City again or who. But there is another one coming out this year. And it should be coming out, I think, somewhere in July, August is when that one is. So I'll have to. Oh, it's Toronto. It's the Toronto Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays.
I already talked to Johnny about it. Yeah. And he said he might go
Well,
to the game and try and get them. And because I was like, if I can find one on Canadian eBay, can I have it shipped to you and then you ship it to me? And he's like, yeah, we'll work something out. So
right. I'm still waiting for an Ellie De La Cruz Funko Pop, which is going to happen eventually because, of course, right now, like I said, too, the Reds are not hitting, but Ellie De La Cruz is probably the most exciting player in Major League Baseball right now. Some people might disagree with me, but I'm thinking he's going to steal 100 bases this year. First time in a long time someone will possibly steal 100 bases in Major League Baseball.
that would be awesome. He's on pace for it right now?
Yes, he's on pace for over 100. He's
Cool.
right now, I think, at 30 or 31 right now. I think at 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right at 30. So.
Wow. Well, Mr. Seth, I am going to run because I have to. I still got to get gas before I have an appointment in the morning that they kind of threw me a late curveball on. But thank you so much for coming on, and I am going to go back and check out your videos where you were doing some of the glass stuff, and it's been something that I've really, really wanted to talk to you about because of how amazed I was when I saw what you made for my mom and knowing that Mama J had gotten a piece in her swap box. So. I don't know if I sparked any fire, but I hope you enjoyed at least talking about it and reminiscing about it for a little bit.
Yes, ma'am. And I greatly appreciate you having me on this evening. And yes, more likely, I might get started back up here next few weeks. And since I have a little bit of downtime before I start my summer job, and that's doing some more teaching. So, but yeah, I appreciate you having me on this evening, and I've enjoyed the whole evening talking about glass, talking about figures, and talking about life in general.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, sir. Everybody have a great week. And next Tuesday night is going to be, I got these boxes from Sergeant Reds that I've been sitting on that I need to open, and there's some weird stuff in there that you guys will probably laugh at. But if we get 30 people in the chat, I will eat 30-year-old space food. So we'll see you next Tuesday night. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be in the chat. You mark the word. Yeah, I'll be there.
All right. Everybody have a great night. Bye, guys.
Have a good evening.
It's like not wanting to end. It's going to keep us here forever.
Well, I think I did my 750 subscriber giveaway. It actually went dark for like the last 2 minutes of the video.
It's just over here spinning. Like it's not letting us leave. Can you guys still see us? Oh, there. Wait. Having trouble. Check my internet. My internet's fine.
You're coming through fine on this, and it still says live.
I know, but it's not. It won't let me end the stream.
Yes, we can. Don't say anything.